Hello, fourth grade math. This video is for your Wednesday lesson. So Monday and then yesterday you just kind of did review and practice and interaction with what we've learned so far. So today we're going to continue with fractions, but we're going to talk about two specific or special kinds of fractions. So far the fractions you've been working with would be considered proper fractions or just plain fractions. And they have a numerator and a denominator, of course, and the number that's in the numerator is always smaller than what's in the denominator because it's the parts of the whole. So that's kind of the regular fractions we've been working with. So today I'm going to talk about two different kinds of fractions. One of them is called a mixed number, and the other one is called an improper fraction. Okay. All right, so I've got a little board here with the definitions that I'll talk about real quick. But these definitions are also on page 508 in your textbook, so 508. So you can always, if you want to pause the video and grab that and follow along, you can, or if you need to look back on it. So I'll start with just the red part here. So a mixed number. A mixed number is made up of a whole number and a fraction. So you can think of it as being a mix of both. It includes a whole number or just a regular number and a fraction. So oftentimes kids like to, because you know the older you are, the cooler you are, right? No, I'm just kidding. But we like to, as kids, really be precise about our age. So for example, maybe I'm not just 9, but I'm 9.5, okay? So 9.5 would be a mixed number, because 9 would be the whole number, and then the half would be the fraction. Together, they create a mixed number, okay? Here's another example. 3 and 1/4. And that's how you'd say it. 3 and 1/4. Just like you would say, I am 9 and 1/2, a half, okay? So a mixed number includes a whole number and a fraction, okay? All right. The second type of fraction is the blue part here. It's an improper fraction. So an improper fraction has a numerator greater than or equal to the denominator. So in other words, in an improper fraction, the numerator, the top number, is either equal to or bigger than the denominator. So most of the fractions we're looking at so far, well, all of them, have had a smaller numerator than the denominator, like 1/4, 2/3, 5/6, 9/12. That top number has always been smaller than the bigger number. Now you have had a few fractions where they're the same, like 3/3, but in that case they're equal, which 3/3 is 1/2. But an improper fraction would be like this. It's like 9/4. My numerator is bigger than my denominator. It's improper. It's not following the rules that we normally think of with fractions, okay? So a proper fraction would be smaller on top, bigger on bottom. Improper is big on top, small on the bottom. So we're going to practice writing these types of fractions given pictures that I'll show you in a minute, okay? So let's start with this picture. I've got two sets of pictures here. So we're going to start up here with the circle picture, okay? So, you know, if it's just me hanging out at night and I'm ordering a pizza for dinner or cooking a pizza, I only need one pizza for me, right? But if you were having like a big birthday party, or if we were having like a big school-wide party, one pizza is not going to cut it. So we would need more than one pizza. So kind of think of mixed numbers and improper fractions as those times like parties and large groups of people coming together. You need more than just one pizza or one cake or one pie or one candy bar, however you want to think about it. Food always makes it easier when we think about fractions. Okay, so in this case, you can pretend we have a pie or a pizza, and in fact, we have two of them. See, one pie, two pies, okay? And they have been cut into thirds because there's 1, 2, 3 pieces on that one and 1, 2, 3 pieces on that one. So let's just start with the improper fraction, okay? Now, both of my pies or pizzas or whatever, my circles, have been cut into the same number of pieces, thirds. So remember, the total number of pieces in something is always the denominator. So in this case, both of my circles have been cut into thirds. So the denominator for this would be 3. Just like if there was only one picture and you see 3 pieces. So just because there's 2, as long as they're cut the same way, into thirds in this case, your denominator is 3. All right, so now let's just count the shaded pieces all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of these 2 pies, 5 thirds are shaded. This is an improper fraction because my numerator is bigger than my denominator. Okay, does that make sense? All right. So another type of fraction that we learned about was the mixed number, the mix of a whole number and then the fraction. So in order to write a mixed fraction for this same picture, we first see how many whole pies or pizzas were eaten. So on this one, all 3 pieces are shaded in. So that's like 3 thirds, which of course equals 1 whole, right? So for my mixed number, I have 1 whole that is totally eaten. So I would start with my whole number. And I'm going to write it big. See how it's as tall as my fraction is? Okay. So, and I'll put a little squiggly line so you can see the separation here. Okay. All right. So once you've written the whole, then you just write a fraction for what's left. So over here, I have 2 shaded out of 3. So we could say 1 2 thirds. Okay. So these are 2 different fractions representing the same picture. The improper fraction for this would be 5 thirds. They're both cut into thirds. 5 of them are shaded. Or I could write it as a mixed number, saying how many wholes I have. In this case, 1 whole is shaded, and then the remaining part is 2 thirds. Okay. All right, so let's do this bottom picture. Down here, you can pretend it's tray of brownies or a cake or whatever you want to think of, okay? So let's do the improper fraction first. So the improper fraction, each square has been cut into fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've all been cut the same way into fourths. So for my improper fraction, I'll do my little squiggle here, my denominator is going to be 4 because they're fourths. Now let's just count how many are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 fourths are shaded. That's my improper fraction because this is bigger than my denominator. Now let's try doing it as a mixed number. So where I count my wholes and then have the fraction for the remaining part. So I have 3 rectangles here, or 3 squares, right? How many whole entire squares are shaded, in which all the pieces are shaded? 1, 2. So I have 2 whole squares completely shaded. So then we just write a fraction for what's left. 2 out of 4 total. Okay, so my mixed number for this picture would be 2 2 fourths because I have 2 wholes and then 2 fourths left in this picture. So the improper, 10 fourths, or the mixed, 2 2 fourths. Okay, it's kind of fun, huh? All right, let's do a couple more examples. Okay, so I'm back to circles. We'll start with our improper fraction first. So just check how many pieces each circle is cut into. So this one has been cut into fourths, that one's been cut into fourths, and that one's been cut into fourths. So our denominator is 4, okay? So I can put that down. So then I just count how many total fourths are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my improper fraction would be 9 fourths. It's improper because this number is bigger than that number. All right, well now let's do the mixed number. Okay, so I'll do my little squiggly here. So mixed number starts with the whole, just like when you're telling how old you are. I'm 9.5. You start with your big number, your whole number. All right, so how many holes did we fill? Well, this one is entirely shaded, so there's 1. This one's entirely shaded, so there's 2. That one's not. So my whole number is going to be 2. And then I just write a fraction for what's left. So in this last picture, what's left, it would be 1 out of 4 shaded. So my mixed number is 2 and 1/4. Okay. All right, one more. So this time we have these tall rectangles. You could think of them as being like candy bars that you're going to cut into pieces for you and your friends. All right, so first of all, let's start with our improper fraction. How many pieces has each rectangle been cut into? Might be a little hard to see, but no, I think you can tell. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Shocking, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so each one of these rectangles has been cut into 5 pieces, or fifths. So when we start our improper fraction, our denominator will be 5, because they each have 5 total pieces. Now, we just count how many altogether. So if I know there's 5 pieces, there's 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. So my improper fraction would be 18 fifths. That's how many shaded pieces we have here, okay? So I'll do a little squiggle line. Now let's do the mixed number. Let's see how many whole rectangles there are completely shaded. So this one's totally shaded in, so there's 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 whole rectangles that are shaded in, and then we just write a fraction for what's remaining. So 1, 2, 3 are shaded out of 5 total pieces. So improper fraction is 18 fifths. The mixed number is 3 and 3 fifths. Okay, so for your assignment today, we are on page 508. Like I said at the beginning, the definitions and some examples of mixed numbers and improper fractions are right here. So just look for those yellow highlighted words. So what we're doing today, you don't need to worry about this part yet. We're doing this part tomorrow. But what you're doing today, starting down here, is they are doing exactly like I just did on my boards. They're giving you pictures to where you first need to write the improper fraction and then write the mixed number. So each problem would have 2 answers. Just like on my boards, next to each picture, we had 2 answers. Okay? All right. So you're going to do numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll turn the page, and there's 3 more here. So 5, 6, 7. So it's just 7 problems, and you're doing exactly what we did on my boards. Look at the pictures. First write the improper fraction, then write the mixed number. All right, have fun. Thanks.